Hello, welcome to I Read This Book with Chris. It is I, Chris. I'm the person I read the book. Today we'll be discussing Star Rigger's Way by Jeffrey A. Carver. While discussing it, I will be drinking a filibuster. It's like a whiskey sour. It's got maple syrup in there. Not going to be making it again. Star Rigger's Way. When I looked at it, my guess, published 1978, copyright 1975 and 1978. A portion of this work has previously been published in a substantially different form in Galaxy magazine. Originally written as a short story as a novelette, turned into a novel in the 70s. I'll read the back for you. In the streams of space, his Rigger teammate suddenly and horribly dead, Jeff Carlisle drifted in the flux, the subjective sea that carried starships at faster than light speeds, alone in the Sedora with a castaway alien. Only a complete Rigger team, meshed in psychic unity, could meet the perils of the flux without disaster, and Sedora was being drawn towards the unthinkable stresses of the hurricane flume. Carlisle needed the cat-like alien's help for even 1,000,000 to 1 chance of survival, but the price of that help was a complete merging of minds and memories, and Carlisle dreaded that union more than death. So, the Star Rigger's Way. The plot is pretty easy to explain. It's a very simple plot. So, it's a world where faster than light travel is possible, but you go into a different dimension, the flux, to travel through. In order to travel through the flux, you need to have strange mind. You need to be a rigger, a certain kind of mindset of mind to be able to fly through. Gev Carlisle, our protagonist, is the fifth in a 4-man crew. So 4 people are needed to fly it. He's the 5th guy there. He's young in his career, trying to figure out how to do it. He finds himself the only survivor after a strange electrical storm goes and fries the brains of all of his team members. So flying the ship by himself, trying to survive, he answers a beacon call to a strange cat-like alien. So it's a big cat that has, the way it's able to interact with the world is through its little minions. These little tree-like hand creatures that he's able to control psychically. And he's able to tell them what to do when they do whatever he needs. This cat creature ran away from his home world, got angry, attacked several of these tree creatures till they died. Only 2 survived, which is not enough to fly his ship. So Gev Carlisle came, found his distress beacon, saved him, and then they are able to make it back onto a safe planet. As a reward for saving the ship, he's given a captaincy over a small 2-seater ship, basically, where he's able to fly it easily with just himself or with another Star Rigger. So him and the cat fly throughout space. He is looking for the members of a crew he left flying with because they were unable to work together properly. Was sent on this trip in order to how to play well with others, basically. He tries to find them, eventually does find them, but when he does and he brings the whole crew back together, he realizes it was through the adventures that he had flying with this alien cat, Zephian, that he is able to fly. And this past team that he was trying to fly with, he's not going to be able to. Past is the past. Can't get it again. He can't recreate it. And so then he and his cat friend now go and are Star Riggers. They fly the universe together. That's the basic plot. Very simple. A survivor finds a friend, tries to find people he was friends with before, but everything's changed, and he realizes you can't go back to the past. Which itself is a very astute comment on the passage of time. It almost felt like a coming-to-age story. I don't read a whole lot of YA, mainly because it feels either very immature or like a bunch of propaganda. I mean, Harry Potter was okay, but it felt kind of YA with coming-to-age. There is a scene in there that's a little grown-up that definitely should not be in any YA books. But it's a coming to understanding. Most of the time, it's just Carlisle fighting with his emotions and his dreams. Here's the description at the beginning of chapter 2 about what exactly rigging is. Starship rigging had been regarded, since its inception in the 12th century of space, as clearly one of the most peculiarly demanding of professions. Piloting a starship involved the mastery of technology, of course, but more than that, it required a curious aptitudes of personality, of emotion set. Starship rigging involved not only spaceflight, but also the mastering of the flux, that subjective realm underlying the normal space of prime reality. A realm akin to, but distinct from, freewheeling fantasy, and as intricate as the mistily mapped waking dream. Successful navigation of the flux demanded the exceptional dreamer, the rigger, trained to construct a vision and then to reach into it and gain a literal fingerhold in a reality where the spaces flowed as oceans and the currents were unconstrained by the laws and distances of normal space. The rigger's net was a harness, trussing the ship to him like a backpack as he rode the ebb and flow of the space itself. It was an exquisite mating of an imagination with the reality of the flux. A strange way to live, in many eyes, but a fine way to travel among the stars. The net itself was a glittery spangle of ghost neurons flung into the flux like the exploded tentacles of a man-o'-war. Interfaced through organic neural foam and amplified by the flux pile, it was the rigger's skin against the elements, his wings and fins against the turbulent sea among the stars. A rigger steered by intuition and by experience, by his own individual imaging powers, and by the currents of space itself. The dreaming could be difficult, but far trickier was the intuition, especially among the members of a crew. Because no two riggers viewed the flux identically, teamwork in the net demanded gestalt, a near-perfect intermixing of visions, perceptions, and intuitive judgments. Several riggers functioning as a gestalt could sail a ship smoothly and speedily between stars. But working at odds in the net, they could tear a ship apart and leave the pieces bobbing lifeless in the flux. A good part of the story takes place flying in the flux. Like I said, it's a sort of another dimension in which you can travel faster than you can the speed of light. It involves you hook your body, your mind up to the machine. It's somewhere between psychic and virtual reality. This is 1978. So concept of virtual reality is a little early, I think. I think a lot of that came in the 80s with the cyberpunk. So this is before cyberpunk. I think it's more of a psychic kind of feel to it. Reading it now, you definitely think virtual reality. But you pop into this other world, this flux realm, where you can then fly and you can control the ship. And you have different images. You don't... The thing that you see in this flux world isn't really real, and your mind tries to construct a reality from it. And if you and your teammates can construct the same reality, you can fly together. But if you construct different realities and you fight against each other, since you're all controlling the ship can be ripped apart. It's sort of maybe a commentary on the creation of art. It feels almost like, you know, it's easy to do by yourself if you are like write. But if you're in like a writer's room, you know, trying to write a script for a sitcom, things can very easily fall apart if you have different ideas about what exactly is supposed to be going on here. And if you're working together, you can have a great show, like, you know, Parks and Recreation or something. And if you're working poorly, then, you know, the later seasons of so many different sitcoms can just fall apart because the people who are there, who are flying, aren't working together, don't have the same dream, same idea of what's going on. So he rescues Cephian, the cat, and since the cat is out of his own space, he has nowhere to go, and so he wants to stay with the person he knows, Carlisle. And since they are forced to fly together at the beginning in order to make it through a rough patch of space, they're then able to fly together later on. And only at the end, after coming and trying to recreate his past, does he realize that this was the thing he should have been seeking for the whole time, because it's only this new friendship, this new relationship that he has with this alien that he's really able to do anything. Anyway, not a lot really seems to happen besides an adventure with himself. A lot of the things that seem to happen seem to only go into point towards the whole thing that I'm saying. So all the individual points on the plot don't seem to really matter a whole lot, except to realize that we can't go back to the past. Well, if you find it, I'd pick it up if any of that seems interesting to you at all. It's definitely not a need to read, but it was enjoyable. 1978, that makes it 48 years old? 46 years old. 46-year-old story. Thank you for watching.